Hello, Pete. Thanks so much for joining us here at REMAX. We're excited to have you here.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
Good, good. So I have a lot of questions that I know
Great.
our membership they want to know. So let's start with a real easy one, tongue in cheek. No, a lot of people look at Trulia as a threat, and they're worried about the role that they play in the industry. A lot of us look at Trulia as a partner and a great tool for our agents to be able to use. How do you see Trulia in the industry?
Yep, so we're a media and technology company. So I started Trulia almost 10 years ago, and the vision that we had was to help consumers with information, but also help real estate agents and brokers and franchisors market themselves on the internet. And what we saw back then was that we saw this big shift from print classified advertising. Consumers were searching on the internet, but there was no decent tools for consumers at that time. And then also, there were no great marketing platforms for real estate professionals that delivered them a great ROI on their investment. So that was the vision back then. And so today we see ourselves very much exactly the same. A media company selling advertising to real estate agents. We're really committed to delivering a great ROI on that platform. So we very much see ourselves as a partner with the industry.
That's wonderful. You know, what I've seen, Trulia has really made for a smarter consumer. I don't see people coming into offices anymore and trying to sit down with an MLS book and say, where do I need to go? They've already come in and they say, here are the 5 homes that I want to see. And so with the information you provide, you actually educate the consumer quite a bit. It makes it easier to a certain degree for the agent.
Yeah, and that's exactly we took a very much a consumer first approach when we launched. And the idea is that you give consumers what they want.
Right.
And you help them up front. Consumers feel empowered, which is sometimes a scary thing in the industry.
It is.
Right? It's give consumers the information they want. We're really focused on making it the best and most accurate information. And then, that when a consumer is informed, then the business model for us is connecting that consumer to the real estate agent.
Right.
So we're not trying to replace a real estate agent at all or get involved in the transaction, but really saying, okay, this is a consumer. They're what we call transaction ready, meaning that they've figured out, sadly, I can't afford $1 million home. I can only afford a $500,000 home. This is the neighborhood that be interesting to me. Because it's near the schools that I know I want to send my kids to, that information is just data, which the agent doesn't need to share that information, but they can go beyond just the basic information, give them real expert advice, which we think is the real expertise of
That's
agents.
great. So it's really a hot lead, because by then the consumer has already decided what they want. So my next question, where do you see real estate going in the next 12, 24 months? I think after that it's a little hard to predict, but where do you see real estate going?
So I think there's 2 sides. One is just the market and the other is the technology. I think we've seen just a great growth, I think, over the last couple of years, and that's set to continue. We're going to see a somewhat more modest growth over the next couple of years, but I think everyone in the market, or at least on a national level, is pretty excited about what's going on.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was going to say I'm okay with modest growth.
Yes.
I think the trouble we got in before was when it went too crazy, too quick.
Yes, and that's the next 12, 24 months. People are feeling really good about it, which is great. Great for everyone.
Wonderful.
On the technology side, I think as we look at the evolution of it, I think in the short term, the big focus is mobile. So it's clearly you've seen both consumers, on Trulia, the majority of our usage is now mobile. And I think that's similar to many other companies out there. And then I think on a technology basis, you've seen that how consumers are being empowered with incredible information and tools over the last 10 years.
Right.
And I think what we're going to see ourselves within the industry is see the real estate professionals and brokers are equally armed with great tools to help to increase their productivity, to increase their information, to increase their understanding. I think that's the last 10 years have been really about technology tools for consumers. The next 10 years is going to be really about technology tools for real estate agents and brokers to help them to be more successful and enable them to run their business very efficiently.
Well, you were saying just a second ago about how much information is out there, and it's true. I believe we have really become an information society now. That's where the real estate broker comes in, and they become the knowledge broker. Okay, here's all this information, but let me help you decipher some of it. So that's where I see you having so much information and us the ability to decipher it for the good of the client, as you said. So I'm kind of curious. At Trulia, over 10 years, as you said, you've got more and more traffic. But I'm sure over the 10 years you've seen things shift. How is it different, and what do people want differently over those 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, the last 10 years for anyone in the real estate industry has been phenomenal. And, you know, it's not been fun, but it's been sort of a roller coaster ride for everyone. You know, from a Trulia perspective, I think what we've seen is certainly over the last couple of years, we've seen that the market return to something that is approaching normal. And we've also seen just this massive transition to mobile usage. So we've seen just this, you know, when we started, mobile wasn't relevant. Now we've seen just a massive usage of mobile. Trulia has also launched a really popular rental service as well. So what that means is that we have a fair amount of prospective first-time home buyers on our platform.
Good.
So you've seen, I think millennials were kind of like knocked out of the equation for a while, really because prices were super high and the economy wasn't great. And I think with our platform, we have increasing number of millennials, which are first-time home buyers, on our platform, which are looking, hey, should I rent, should I buy? And I think for those that know the data, in many, many cities across the US, buying is a better option than renting.
It is. You're right.
And so that's a great way for Trulia to connect millennials to real estate agents looking to make their first purchase. And these are digital natives. These are individuals who
grew up with it.
They grew up with it, and that's the first thing they do is open their smartphone and look for information and see, should I rent, should I buy? And then Trulia can introduce those millennials to real estate professionals.
Then all we have to do is get loosen credit standards so they can actually get some loans, right?
Yes.
So let's go a different direction, and obviously the biggest news lately has been Zillow and Trulia going together. Yep. So what can you tell us about that? What your thoughts are on the whole thing?
Yeah. So we announced at the end of July that Trulia and Zillow are merging. So the deal is not closed yet. We have to jump through a few hoops to get there. But I'm really excited about it, and I think the opportunity for the combined company is a couple of things. So one is that there's a lot of similarity between the businesses, as I think most people recognize. And it kind of, and that makes sense from a lot of people why you bring the companies together. But it really enables us together to create a platform of continued innovation. Both companies are like, how do we deliver services to consumers and professionals, and how do we innovate using technology?
Right.
And by bringing the companies together, we think we can free up more capacity to innovate further to help consumers and professionals.
Okay.
And then we also think that there is a whole bunch of data that we can start to provide to consumers and improve the data we have on our platforms, and give brokers and agents increased distribution across this larger platform. So we're really excited.
So, I've heard that both companies will remain and just operate under one umbrella, or do you see them merging together, or has that not been decided yet?
So there's a while before the deal closes, but what we do know is both brands will remain.
Okay.
So meaning consumers love Trulia. Tens of millions of them visit it every single month on web or mobile. That will continue to happen, and Trulia will continue to build unique services that are not available elsewhere to continue to live on that great experience. The same with Zillow. Okay. Consumers love Zillow, and that will thrive and survive and invest behind that. And we believe just giving choice to consumers, much like you see in many other industries, whether that's in dating, there's a bunch of dating sites, or whether it's travel sites, there's a bunch of different travel sites. Right. Consumers deliver choice, and we think we can perhaps tailor the services to different segments as well.
So Zillow has millions of eyes on them, and so does Trulia. Aren't they the same eyes, one going here and one going here, or do you see a lot of overlap, or is it actually unique users that go to each?
So there is, depending on how you look at it, there's about 50% of our users that also visit Zillow. So there
Okay.
are,
Yeah.
think about it. These are consumers that are
Sure.
making one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives. They're going to do all the
Right.
research. They're going to speak to their
That's right.
friends. They go to multiple sites. They're going to speak to agents. So we believe in giving them choice is a good thing.
The other question that obviously comes to mind is, do you think there's going to be an issue with any kind of Fed looking at this and monopoly or too much market share? Any pushback on that?
So we feel very confident that the deal will go through the appropriate antitrust processes and close sometime next year. So we feel very confident. While Trulia and Zillow are growing brands within the category, we collectively have a tiny percentage, less than 5% of the real estate advertising budgets out there, as you know. Trulia and Zillow offer deliver a great ROI for customers, but at the same time, there are just thousands of different options out there, both digital as well as offline, that agents are spending, and that's where the agents are spending the majority of their budgets.
Okay, so Pete, tell me, with the merger that's just gone on that we talked about, what impact do you see that having, number one, on the consumer? What changes, enhancements? And second, closer to home, what impact does that have on our brokers and our agents here at RE/MAX?
So for consumers, we think there's a couple of opportunities. So firstly, we're going to keep the brands separate. And the benefits to consumers are increased distribution of free information. There's a lot of free information on both platforms. We can enhance that. We're focused on providing the best and accurate information. We think we'll continue to provide great free information to consumers.
Okay.
We'll also continue to innovate. Both companies innovate heavily. We have great tech teams in Seattle and San Francisco, and we'll continue to innovate, providing innovative services to consumers to help connect them to properties and to agents.
Okay.
For professionals, the elephant in the room is like, are you going to raise prices?
Yes.
We don't anticipate raising prices. The focus is providing great ROI. We know there's a number of options out there in the marketplace. How are agents look in many different options when they spend their marketing dollars, whether that's offline or online, and we'll continue to be highly focused on providing great ROI. We also hope that it will be simple. We speak to agents, they're busy professionals managing many relationships at a single time. We want to make it simple. So that means increased distribution, hopefully, with lower headaches. And we hear a lot from agents like, this stuff is hard. This stuff is like, how's it work? And I've got my listings here. I've got my listings there. So simple. Trying to make it simple. And we think that is, that way we can remove headaches from the lives of brokers and the lives of real estate professionals, but really provide great marketing services and be a great media platform and partner to the industry that we want to be.
Very good. So no price change and keep it simple. Perfect. Not that long ago, Trulia obviously merged and bought Market Leader. So what happens to Market Leader now that Zillow's coming into this?
So no change there. We're really excited about Market Leader, and I think just to give you a little bit of that, the background to that, so is that Trulia has historically been providing marketing services to agents and brokers, and that's been the mainstay of our business, and that's been where we've grown. But what we've seen is that providing leads and inquiries is not enough, and you know that. It's turning those leads into closings.
Right.
And given the nature of the real estate transaction, whereas that time frame between, hey, I'm interested in buying a home or interested in selling a home, to actually closing that transaction is many months, if not years in some cases.
Right.
Technology can help to improve that process. So the Market Leader built an incredible business in that way. And then Trulia, combining marketing and software, we think is an incredible platform. And a lot of the focus increasingly with Market Leader is on mobile.
Right.
It's providing the same tools that real estate had traditionally at the desktop out in the field. As we all know, real estate agents are running around doing business.
Driving around looking at homes, you want to have the information right there.
And you want to have your clients' information,
That's
you want to be able to serve them most effectively.
Everything.
And the technology is just staggering. It's
And,
just
and it
staggering.
changes so quickly.
Yes.
That's the thing that is amazing to me is how rapidly there are new and exciting tools out there that can help.
Yeah,
So-
and I think this is, you see this, the innovation is just beginning. There is just a whole set of innovation for real estate professionals we see coming out.
This is kind of a hot topic anymore. Some local boards are starting to push back on the concept of data sharing and IDX. And obviously, a merger like this may heighten some of those fears. So, what do you say to them about that?
So I think the biggest pushback that we get is about data accuracy. And that's, they say, like, how accurate is
You're
your
right.
data? And that's, we hear that from consumers, we hear that from brokers. And that, we've known each other for many years. And that's been an area where we've made very significant progress over those years. And we have a number of programs that work directly with brokers, directly with MLSs, directly with franchisors
Right.
to increase that data accuracy. So now it's close to real time.
Good, because that was a problem for a long time in the beginning.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's been a huge focus for us.
Okay.
And so we've invested very heavily in building out these technology platforms to increase the data accuracy on the service. And so that really goes to say, well, actually data accuracy is less of a problem. If we work directly with a lot of these brokers and MLSs, then we can improve the data accuracy and avoid some of their concerns within the service.
Are you getting a lot of pushback or any pushback from MLSs? I see MLSs building walls up around themselves. I mean, I think a lot of people do. What do you say to that?
What we've seen is certainly over the last year, just an incredible traction of working directly with MLSs. And there's been a number of MLSs across the country, My Florida, Austin Board of Realtors, just two recent ones, which have come on board and directly integrated with our platform. So, they have their own set of concerns, and we're very thoughtful about building a relationship with them. But I think MLSs are realizing, well, this is a way for me to support members in an industry-friendly way to help to get that data. And, they care about data accuracy, and, we're very conscious of that as well.
Very good. So, a hypothetical situation, and this is about where leads go. So, if Agent A has a listing on Trulia, and inquiry is made about it, does Agent A have the right to expect that lead will go to him and her?
So we take very much a consumer first approach. So we think about the consumer and what would the consumer want. Now, say I'm a consumer and if my inquiry can explicitly be answered by the listing agent, Trulia will enable that communication free of charge, entirely free. But if that consumer is looking for independent buyer representation, Trulia will also offer that service as well.
So the consumer selects if they want to go to the listing agent or to anyone?
Yes, and so we prominently display the listing agent on all our listings and make it easy for consumers to contact that professional. And that's choice. That's what consumers want.
It's up to the consumer at that point.
Yes, it's up to the consumer. We make it incredibly easy to contact the listing agent of their listing, and we do that for free.
Okay.
And that we think that's important. But we also think, well, consumers want independent buyer representation. That's important as well.
Or they may have their own agent already.
And they may have their own agent already.
They're just searching out there for different properties. Okay. Talk a little bit about the Trulia RE/MAX relationship. And obviously we see it as bringing great value, but how do you see that and how do we enhance it?
Yeah, it's been a tremendous partnership over the last couple of years, and I think it's really a unique way that two companies can work together to provide the RE/MAX professionals with just an incredible array of technology, both free and premium tools. And a lot of there's a number of things that we're doing together. I think from a basic, the sort of one of the key basics is providing real estate professionals with RE/MAX branded profiles across the platform. And we have these enhanced profiles for real estate, for RE/MAX agents, which promote the RE/MAX brand and promote the agent themselves. And that's really important because we see that the properly constructed profiles generate 20 times the views
Really?
that the regular profiles generate. So it's just important to provide that.
Okay.
And so the sort of number one thing for real estate professionals, RE/MAX agents to do is to come in and make sure their profile is up to date.
So for those that don't know, what's included in an enhanced profile?
So that's photos, it's SEO-friendly pages, it is
Okay.
the historical transactions, listings,
Okay.
recommendations, a whole bunch of information
All their
about
history, everything that they've done, whatever they want to put out there.
Yeah, and you see consumers increasingly finding their agents in all sorts of different avenues, whether that's,
Yeah, that's
through
right.
their through their school or through their different associations or through
true.
yard signs, but they want to check what's the agent like, and they want to check on independent platforms like Trulia and say, okay, this agent is selling homes in
Right.
my neighborhood. They are perfect.
Well, and that's also where social media comes in so significantly. It's no longer about who farms my area. It's about, can I connect with this person?
Yes.
And you know, I've said a lot in front of audiences is that by the time an agent gets a call, they already know everything about you and they've looked into it. So if you're not out there, you're missing an opportunity,
Yeah.
because if they can't find you, they're probably going to go to the next one and look.
Yeah, and building that digital reputation is critical, both
Right.
in social media platforms like Facebook,
Right.
as well as on real estate specific platforms
Absolutely.
like Trulia, and that because consumers want to work with an agent that they trust.
Right.
And if your online presence is not kind of robust and tech savvy, then that's a missed opportunity, and
That's
that's
true.
entirely free.
And like you said, especially for the different generations, you know, Gen Y, definitely. I mean, this is what they grew up with, so that's where they're going to start.
Yeah.
So, okay, interesting. Last question. What would be one piece of advice that you would give a RE/MAX agent or any agent out there in the business right now?
So, firstly, I'm going to have two pieces of advice.
Okay.
Firstly, build your online presence. So make sure your presence on Trulia is robust, and make sure your digital presence. So if people type in your name, they can find you, and everything appears great. It's
Okay.
just reputation management number one. Secondly, look at paid marketing options, and there's a number of choices out there. One of which is Trulia. Explore them, and then track the ROI. There's a number of options out there. Try a number of different things, see what works. If the ROI is great, and give it kind of 6 months. It takes a while for these things to work. And then track the ROI and double down on the platforms that work and cut those that don't.
Excellent. That's great advice. Pete, thank you so much for
My pleasure.
all this great information and being
Thank you.
here to share it with all
Great
of
to be
our
here.
folks. So thanks.
Thank you.